morning, my brothers and sisters. I'm one of the ministers at Love Gospel Assembly. Today's topic is on Job. Studying Job recently, I thought I would be reminded of God's power and control. But God has shown me more through the trials and suffering of Job. Side note, Satan's name was mentioned in chapter 1 through chapter 3. Then from chapter 4 to the end of the book, Satan was not mentioned anymore because Job's friend was doing Satan's job for him. A little background. Job was a righteous man. He had a wife, many sons and daughters, servants, and a large herd of flocks. God has blessed him with much because of his faithfulness and righteousness. To prove to Satan that a righteous man will still be faithful in any circumstances, God allows Satan to test Job. During this test, Job lost everything and became very ill with boils and sores. He is about as low as a man can get in this earth. In all this, Job did not sin nor charge God with wrong. Job chapter 1 verse 22. During the during the, the during COVID, a brother asked me in church that am I wearing the mask? And I said no, because I'm a child of God and God's gonna protect me. And guess what? I caught COVID. I spent 16 days in the hospital, not knowing if I was coming back. During that time, God showed me a dark cloud with a lot of red dots. And a second later, a white light came over, hovering over all the darkness. And I heard a voice say to me, "My son, you have problems." And I said, "Lord, did I offend you? Did I sin against you? What problem do I have?" And he said, "This, my son. Say, my people say they love me, but don't love one another. My people say they love me, but there's no unforgiveness. My people say they love me, but there's no unity." This is the problem I have now. I have to, whenever I get a chance, to voice what God has shown me during my COVID time. His very well-meaning friends heard of his affliction, and came to offer support. I believe that these friends had Job's best interest in mind when they arrived. They truly wanted to help. They sat with him for 7 days and 7 nights and said nothing, just mourned with him. For they had made an appointment together to come and mourn with him and to comfort him. And when they raised their eyes from afar and did not recognize him, they lifted their voice and wept, and each one tore his robe and sprinkled dust on his head towards heaven. Job chapter 2 verse 11b to 12. Job's friend came to mourn with him and comfort him, but as soon as the door was opened for them to speak, they began a long, miserable debate about the reason for Job's suffering. They tell Job that it is his fault that he is suffering, that the righteous do not suffer like this, that he needs to repent and God will make his troubles go away. Job knows in his heart that he is not that this is not the case. He is an innocent man. The friend tells Job that God only acts with justice and fairness. Therefore, they question Job. Who is Job to question God and his action? Job is confused and frustrated because he knows that God is just, but he also knows that has not done anything wrong. The debate goes back and forth throughout the book. The friends on attack, insisting that Job's suffering is his own doing and he is getting what he deserves. Job continues to respond that he has done nothing wrong and calls out to God for proof. God eventually rebuked the friends and blessed Job's life even more than before, never offering an explanation. The lessons I learned from the Job's friend in Ephesus, Bildad, and so far. Get to know your friends. The book of Job mentioned more than once that Job was a righteous man in the eyes of the Lord. His friend apparently did not know and understood Job and his relationship with God. If they had spent time to really get to know him, they would have believed and trusted that he was a righteous man. Most of the time, it is better just to listen to your friends. So many times we try to help our friends understand the why or try to offer solutions to their problem when all they need is a comfort and support. When you really listen to others, it is easier to understand what their needs are. There are times when they are looking for a solution to the problem or advice about what to do. But many times the only thing your friends need is a prayer, an encouraging word, someone to lean on, cry with, or a comforting hug. When our friends do seek advice, avoid criticism. In the story of Job, we see the crushing effect of criticism. In a time that Job only needed comfort and support from his friends, they were overconfident and insensitive, only offering criticism and judgment. They made him question everything. If you do speak or offer advice, make sure that it is an encouraging word. Job's friend wanted to analyze his suffering and look for an answer, but they only found misdirect ideas that God rebuked in the end. They did not help at all in this situation. They only made it worse for Job. Do not be deceived. Evil company corrupts good habits. 1 Corinthians chapter 15 verse 33. Bottom line, just be there for your friends in their suffering. Don't worry about what got them there where they are. Just make yourself available to them. There is no need to analyze and or criticize every circumstance in life. Job's friend did not know what was going on between God and Satan. They did not know. They did not need to know. They just needed to be there to offer support for their friend. Don't make the same mistake Job's friend did. Let no corrupt word proceed out of your mouth, but what is good for necessary edification, that it may impact grace to the hearers. Ephesians chapter 4 verse 29. In addition, we can gain wisdom from the Job's friend did wrong. We should not assume the troubles are the sure sign of God's judgment. 1 John chapter 9 verse 1 to 3. Insist, Instead of telling a hurting person to admit his wrong and repent when we do not know the reason for the suffering, we can join together and encourage a friend to endure faithfully, knowing God sees our pain and has a purpose for it. When we turn our focus to God, we can offer great encouragement and hope to those in need, helping those who suffer to see God at work. This is a great application of Romans chapter 12, verse 15. Rejoice with those who rejoice, and weep with those who weep. Mourn with those who mourn. When we are willing to enter into the pain of suffering, friend, we follow the example of Jesus, who came to bear our pain and suffer in our place. Our help those in need is ultimately a way we serve Christ. Matthew chapter 25, verse 40. I pray that this will edify someone. Have a blessed day.
Thank you for staying tuned in today. Did you enjoy today's message? I pray that you did. And I also pray that your relationship with God is growing by leaps and bounds day by day. Now, there's so much more to come, so I want you to be sure to like, follow, and share us on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Just type in Love Gospel Assembly, and I'm sure you will be blessed by what you hear and see. And in the meantime, be sure to ring that subscribe bell. You won't want to miss all that's coming up. So have a blessed day.